The night was cold enough to make the city lights shiver. Los Angeles buzzed like it always did. Cars growling, laughter spilling from bars, that sweet and greasy smell of downtown street food drifting through the air. A black SUV rolled up to a corner on Sunset. The door cracked open, and out stepped a man in a gray hoodie, ball cap pulled low. He moved like he was used to attention, strong, heavy-footed, like every step had a purpose. But tonight he wasn't looking for the spotlight. Veng Diesel adjusted his hood and checked his reflection in a tinted window. No one looked twice. That's how he liked it. Good, he muttered to himself, voice low and rough. No cameras, no crew, just me. He'd been thinking about this for a week. Word had gotten back to him that one of his restaurants, Torque and Table, his newest family-style spot, wasn't running right. Bad service, angry reviews, staff quitting. He didn't believe in online gossip, but something felt off. He'd built his career on loyalty, on brotherhood. His fans called him Dom from Fast and Furious, but behind the camera, he believed that same code. Family ain't blood, it's trust. So when a buddy mentioned hearing that a new floor manager was treating staff like trash, Veng didn't call. Didn't text, didn't send his PR team. He wanted the truth. He wanted to see it. He walked up to the restaurant entrance, the faint rumble of laughter and music leaking through the glass doors. A neon sign flickered. Torque and Table, family first dining. Inside, it was full, a Friday night crowd. People clinking glasses, snapping selfies, the smell of barbecue and garlic butter hitting hard. Veng kept his hood up and slid past the hostess stand. He knew the layout like he'd designed it himself, because he had. Booths on the left, bar straight ahead, kitchen tucked in the back with a half-glass window so guests could watch the action. He nodded to himself, slipping toward the rear. Nobody recognized him, not yet, and he didn't want them to. A waiter carrying a tray brushed by. "Yo, watch your step, bro," the guy said, not even glancing up. Veng smirked under the hood. "All good, man." He moved down the hallway toward the kitchen, the air getting hotter, louder. Pans clanging, orders being shouted, the smell of sweat and steak smoke mixing with fried onions. That's when he heard it. Not the usual chaos of a kitchen, not the sharp rhythm of teamwork, something else. A sound that didn't belong. A cry. Soft at first, like someone trying hard to hide it. Then a quiet sniff. Then another. Veng froze. He turned his head toward the side prep room, a narrow space with a few metal shelves and a mop bucket tucked away. He could hear voices now. One male, sharp, cutting. One female, shaking, trying to hold it together. "I told you already, Maria. You can't just show up late whenever you want. I don't care if your kid's sick, this is a business." The girl's voice cracked. "Please, I'm sorry, Mr. Carter. My babysitter canceled last minute, and not my problem." The man snapped. "You think customers care about your excuses? You want me to feel bad for you? You're lucky I don't dock your pay." There was a pause, the sound of someone wiping their face. Then softly, I really need this job." Vin's jaw tightened. He could picture it, the manager towering over a young waitress, arms crossed, power in his tone. He'd seen that kind of man before, one who mistakes authority for cruelty. He took a step closer. The voices were clearer now. "You keep messing up, and I'll replace you before you can blink," Carter said, voice dripping arrogance. "And don't start crying on my floor again. You embarrass me in front of customers and you're out." There was a choked sob. Vin's chest burned. He glanced toward the half-glass kitchen window. Through it, he could see part of the manager's reflection. Tall guy, slick hair, clean suit. Didn't belong in a kitchen, that's for sure. And just beyond him, a young woman, face red, eyes watery, holding an empty tray like it was the only thing keeping her from collapsing. Veng took a deep breath, steadying himself. He wasn't about to blow his cover. Not yet. He wanted to see how far this would go. A dishwasher near him whispered to another, not noticing Veng listening. "Yo, man, Carter's at it again." Poor Maria been crying all week. The other guy shook his head. "Yeah, dude treats her like dirt." Only reason she ain't quit yet is 'cause she needs that paycheck bad. Vin's stomach turned. He built torque and table on one rule: respect everyone like family. And this wasn't family. He leaned against the wall, hood shadowing his face. In his mind, flashes of old memories played. His mom working 2 jobs, her hands raw from cleaning. The way people had looked down on her like she was invisible. He de-promised himself long ago. He'd never let people like that go unseen again. The manager's voice cut through the noise once more. Now get back out there and smile. You got customers waiting. And don't make me tell you again. Vin's hands curled into fists. He took one step out of the shadow, voice low and deep. "Hey," he said. Both heads turned. The manager frowned. "Who the hell are you?" Veng pulled his hood back slowly, eyes sharp but calm. The fluorescent lights hit his face and the man's expression dropped. The dishwasher froze. The waitress gasped. Veng Diesel stood there, silent, unshakable. For a full 3 seconds, nobody moved. The kitchen that had been roaring just moments ago fell dead silent. You could. They heard a pin drop between the fryers and the sizzling grill. Carter, the manager, blinked twice. "Wait, are you?" Ving raised a hand. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I'm him." The dishwasher's jaw literally dropped. Maria, the young server, looked like she'd just seen a ghost. Her eyes were wide, hands trembling around the tray. She still clutched to her chest. Veng took a slow step forward, voice low but steady. "Go ahead," he said, eyes locked on Carter. "Finish what you were saying. I want to hear the rest." Carter stammered, his voice suddenly unsure. I was just explaining our expectations here, sir. You know how important it is that staff show professionalism." Veng cut him off, his tone calm but edged. "Professionalism, huh? That what you call talking down to somebody who's barely keeping it together?" Carter swallowed hard, forcing a fake grin. "I didn't mean any disrespect, Mr. Diesel. I didn't realize you were..." Vin's expression didn't change. "That's the problem," he said. "You shouldn't have to realize who somebody is before you treat them with some damn respect." You could feel the weight of those words drop into the room. Even the cooks stopped moving. The sizzling faded into the background. Maria looked down, whispering, "I'm sorry, Mr. Diesel. I didn't mean to make a scene." Veng turned to her, his voice softening instantly. "Hey, don't apologize. You didn't do nothing wrong." He stepped closer, lowering his tone. "How long you been working here, sweetheart?" She hesitated. "Almost 6 months, sir. 6 months," he repeated. "And this man been talking to you like that the whole time?" Maria's eyes darted toward Carter, afraid. Veng caught that hesitation and nodded slightly. "It's okay. You ain't gotta answer." He looked back at the manager. "You new here, right?" Carter cleared his throat. "You, hey, yes. I was brought in about 2 months ago to tighten operations." Vang smirked, but it wasn't friendly. "Tighten operations," he echoed. "By running people into the ground?" The man tried to recover, adjusting his tie. "With all due respect, Mr. Diesel, this is a business, not a charity. I run things efficiently." Veng took a step closer. The air shifted. When he spoke, it wasn't loud. It was quieter, but somehow heavier. "You know what I built this place on?" he asked. "It ain't efficiency. It's family. Every person who walks through that door, whether they re-eatin or servin, gets treated with dignity." Carter tried to speak, but Veng didn't let him. "You think these folks are numbers? Nah, man. These are real people. Maria's got a kid. Probably working doubles just to keep the lights on. You don't humiliate family for struggling, you help them through it." The manager's face turned red. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Veng let out a slow exhale and turned toward the rest of the kitchen crew. "You guys," he said, voice lifting slightly. "Anybody else been feeling this kind of treatment lately?" A few workers exchanged glances. One older cook raised a hand cautiously. "Honestly, boss, yeah. Dude been acting like he owns the place." Another nodded. "He even yelled at the dishwasher last week for taking a 5-minute break." Vin's jaw tightened again. He turned back to Carter. You got anything to say for yourself? Carter's face twisted into a nervous smile. Look, Mr. Diesel, maybe I came off too harsh. I just wanted to maintain standards. You know how customers can be, Veng leaned in, voice low and gravelly. Yeah, I know exactly how customers can be. But I also know how leaders are supposed to be, and what I just saw? That ain't leadership. That's ego. The words hit hard. The kind that sink deep and don't leave. For a moment, nobody said a thing. The kitchen just buzzed softly with tension. Then Veng straightened up, brushing invisible dust from his hoodie. All right, he said quietly. Everyone, back to work. You do what you do best. And Maria, he looked at her kindly, take a breather. You've earned it. She nodded, tears shining in her eyes, whispering, thank you. Carter looked desperate now. Mr. Diesel, I swear, I can fix this. Veng turned toward him one last time. You're gonna fix it, all right, he said, but not here. The manager froze. What do you mean? Veng crossed his arms. You're done. You don't talk to my people like that. You don't belong at a place that's built on respect. You can pick up your last check tomorrow. Carter's mouth fell open. You're firing me? Just like that? The dining room had started to quiet down. A few tables were still buzzing, forks clinking, laughter echoing faintly. But the energy was softer now, like everyone could sense something had shifted in the air. Veng Diesel sat at a corner booth by the window, hood now down, face calm but deep in thought. He had one of the servers bring him a coffee, black, no sugar. The same way he'd taken it since the first Fast and Furious shoot 20 years ago. Across the restaurant, Maria was wiping down a table, trying hard not to look in his direction. Her hands were shaking just enough for him to notice. He took a sip, watching quietly. He'd fired the manager. Yeah, that part was done. But his gut told him the real problem wasn't just that guy. Something else was eating her alive. He'd seen that look before, back when he was just Mark Sinclair from New York, hustling through auditions, watching his mom cry over overdue rent. He knew that look, the kind that came from exhaustion, not weakness. Veng waved over another server, a tall guy named Rico he remembered from an earlier opening night. Yo, Rico, he said quietly. Send Maria over here a sec, yeah? Rico hesitated, then nodded. You got it, boss. A minute later, Maria approached the booth, nervously wringing her hands. Mr. Diesel, she started softly. I just wanted to say thank you for... Veng stopped her with a small gesture. Sit down, he said gently. Please. She hesitated but slid into the booth across from him, eyes darting around as if afraid she was breaking some rule. He leaned back, his voice steady. You don't gotta thank me. I didn't do anything special. But I do want to ask you something. She nodded, her voice barely above a whisper. Okay. Why were you crying? Her eyes went wide. She opened her mouth, closed it again. I told you, she said finally. My babysitter canceled. I was late. Mr. Carter just... Veng tilted his head. That's part of it, yeah. But that ain't the whole story. Maria swallowed, tears threatening again. It's just been a rough month. Veng didn't say anything. He just waited. That silence, that space, did something most people couldn't. It gave her permission to let go. She exhaled shakily, voice trembling. My little boy's sick, he's 5. Got asthma real bad. Hospital bills keep stacking up. I'd been working doubles, picking up shifts, just trying to stay ahead. Her hands twisted the napkin on the table until it tore in half. Last week, she continued, I came home and found a notice on the door. Rent's late again. Landlord said one more time and we're out. So I've been taking the bus here, even when I don't sleep. And then tonight, the sitter canceled, and I thought I could still make it on time, but traffic... She trailed off, voice cracking. I was just trying to keep it together.